Patriots t-shirt because that's where the Raiders open up. They open up with the Patriots.
I was listening to the Insiders earlier on my way into the studio today. I think it's interesting how 50-50 everybody is on if the Raiders or the Patriots who's going to win week 1. And I think that's going to set the tone for both teams this season when you look at the NFL schedule and how it shapes up for the Raiders. Going into New England, Mike Vrabel, new head coach, against Drake May, second year, has new guys around him. Probably you could disagree or agree with me, but I think New England's had a top 5 offseason so far in terms of the acquisitions they've made and the retooling of that offense specifically. I think that could be a game where I could see going both ways with Pete Carroll and new quarterback and Geno Smith. The Raiders go into New England and set the tone of what the season could be for them. But I could also see going the whole other way of New England showing that, hey, we're not a team to be messed with this year. Mike Vrabel knows what he's doing, and Drake May is going to take a step in year 2.
Obviously, I want to get to the Raiders part of this. Let me ask you. You will know this better than anyone. If Mike Vrabel hadn't been available, would the Patriots have fired Gerard Mayo?
No.
They fired Gerard Mayo because Mike Vrabel was out there and that's the guy they wanted.
Yes.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, I think if you look at it, the reason why Mayo got the job was because Belichick picked him as his disciple. I think if Vrabel had stayed with Belichick and been a coach with him,
would have been him.
I think it would have been him. Yeah. I think Vrabel was ready earlier than Mayo. And I still don't think Mayo's ready. I think Mayo's going to sit out this year and be a defensive coordinator again next year.
Well, he'll I'm sure he'll wind up with another shot then.
Like at some point down the road, but I don't think he's not in the next head coaching cycle. I can tell you that much.
Looking at the other side of that, the Raiders side of that, I'm like, I look at their schedule and the schedule release stuff. It means like nothing to me. Like people get excited for it, and we do the how many wins, and we do better or worse, and like this stuff like does not move me at all. But one thing I really do like doing is like Kyle does some great writing. Kyle Madsen does some great writing over at like NinersWire.com.
Yes.
And I love reading the 49ers don't play anyone who's coming off of a bye. The Raiders, I think, do it 3 times. Like, I love little things like that because I can look at the teams on the schedule and not think anything of it. But, they're traveling 7,000 miles over a certain, that's interesting. I find that stuff
100%
really interesting when it comes to the schedule release.
I also primetime games and how you select primetime games are very intriguing to me. I think especially when you're looking at top teams in the league, Kansas City, Dallas, they'll always get it, but it's the second tier, right?
Well, Dallas is the first team ever who they've got a opening night game. They've got Thanksgiving, obviously. And they've got Christmas. And I don't have a problem with it. Like, it's the Dallas Cowboys until 30 million people stop watching them play. I don't have an issue with that.
Can be, but it's bigger than just the Dallas market. That's why they do it.
For sure.
It's the San Antonio market. It's all of West Texas.
No, it's America.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we could joke about America's team. Like, there's Cowboy fans listening.
Oh yeah,
Drew Down. It's Cowboy fans watching. Like, there are Cowboy fans everywhere. They
tune in.
They infiltrate every city, regardless of it being in California, Texas, New York, whatever. Like, there's Cowboy fans everywhere, and they're all watching. And then the other people who are Dolphins fans, Patriots, they're watching, hoping the Cowboys lose. And so
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I don't have no beef with that at all. But that's going to be a lot. I hope they're at least good, because that's a lot of marquee games where it's like, it's the Cowboys again.
Schottenheimer is going to get his shot. I think you're going to see a different vibe around the team from my buddies that cover the Dallas Cowboys that I have friends still in the Lone Star State. Different vibe around the facility. Not as uptight. I think Schottenheimer is going to bring a different mood to that team. And I think it could be the difference. It could not be the difference. I don't know. But player-wise, they have it.
What do you think about the Raiders?
I think they are still a year away. I love the Spy Tech move. I love the Pete Carroll move. I think Gino signing him to a good contract is something good.
Where did you just go? Why did Jake? We
I
just
just
lost.
yes,
We just lost Jake on the stream.
something went wrong. Try again. Please ensure you're connected to your internet. If you are, enabling studio. Yep. Okay. We're refreshing it. Here we go.
Good old Odyssey, baby.
Yeah,
We're a
yeah.
legit media company.
Yes, we are. There we go. We're bringing Jake back. There he is.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, that's not you. We're good. We're good. This is a big time media company right here.
Is it really?
It is. Yeah, we're a big time media. You would never know it. Sometimes it just feels like we're a podcast.
There was definitely no issues yesterday as far as like streaming and none of that.
Not a single issue.
Not gonna even ask.
Not a single issue, man. So you think that I
think they're a 500 team.
Are they the worst team in the division?
Yeah.
Chargers. Yeah, they're the worst team in the division.
Yeah, I still think you're gonna get 3 teams out of the division unless something goes horribly wrong with Denver or LA when it comes to a quarterback situation. But I think Geno Smith is gonna miss a couple games. I don't think you have a backup option there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they've retooled the offensive line, but I don't know if they've done it enough. I love the Genti move. I think.
Me too. Me too.
So great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you figured out
I like the way they drafted.
Yes.
They needed a lot,
and they addressed a lot.
Yeah, they tried to They did. They kind of all right. We needed some skill position. Did that. We need trench it. Did that. We don't know how good these guys are going to wind up being, but in terms of need, they did a lot to address needs that they had.
I just don't know to your point though, how effective are they going to be day 1, week 1 of the NFL season? I think that's the question, because if you brought in some of those guys that were maybe veterans through free agency and filled some of those holes, I think I'd feel a little bit differently about it. But because of how young this team is and the guys that you brought in to fill, I still think it's a 500 team. I think, like I said, it's a year or 2 away. And I think you're going in the right direction. You have the right people running the stuff, capable people running the stuff. I just don't, again, offensive line, who's number 2 or number 3 wide receiver? Can Geno stay healthy? And defensively, how good can you be next year with Max Crosby leading the fold?
You open up with the Patriots, the Chargers, and the Commanders. That's who
I think it's 0-3.
Well, of course you do, because
you're
wearing a stupid Patriots shirt.
Then I think it's 4 straight wins.
Well, they got the Bears after that in Vegas. They got the Colts.
I think you can win that.
They got Tennessee.
Can definitely win that.
And then they got Kansas City.
Didn't they beat Kansas City last year, or am I making that up?
I can't. I feel like they've beat Kansas City recently. Did they win last year? Nope, didn't win that one. Nope, they lost both games to Kansas City. Both of them were fights, though. They were 1-score losses. They lost 27-20 in October, and then they lost where's the other one? 19-17 in November.
Here's the interesting thing when it comes to the Raiders in the division, though, and then why I think they're going to finish last. Every single year, they're like, "Oh, we're in a split against the Chargers and split against the Broncos. Win at home, win at home, lose away." I think you're getting swept by one of those teams this year. I just think Denver was really that much better.
They were 4-13 last year. Like, I did not expect them to be that bad at all. Like, I didn't think they'd be great. I thought they'd be, on the lower end of the 500 spec, but not 4-13.
That's why I think an 8-9 or a 9-8 record is something that you don't have to hold your.
A 9-8 record is a pretty big turnaround.
Agreed. That's why I think 8-9 is more, or 7-10 is something more suitable of what you're looking at right now.
They lacked so much last year, and you're probably asking a lot from your draft guys, and you need Geno to be really good. So we'll see what happens with them. What about the San Francisco 49ers? They went from, and this is funny, they went from the hardest schedule to the easiest.
Yep.
But we're not basing that off new information. We're basing it off old information. And that's another one of the funny things about the schedule is it's all based on, it's not based on free agency. It's not based on draft, because we haven't seen these teams play games yet. It's all based on last year. So technically they went from the hardest to the easiest, but what does this wind up looking like? Well, TV is in on it because they got 5 primetime games. The 2 things that stood out the most to me for the San Francisco 49ers were the primetime games. There's 5 of them.
Okay.
and they have a bye in week 13.
14, I think.
Is it 14?
It's
My
14.
mistake. They have a
14.
bye week in week 14. That is an incredibly late bye.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to go work off of what you just said. Yes, they have 5 primetime games. Of those 5 primetime games, I think one of them is good. Every other one of them is terrible. Terrible matchup. Carolina, Atlanta, Chicago, and Indianapolis. None of those. Like, I would rather have Tampa Bay as a primetime game than one of those games. That's why I think, yes, we're going off of last year's information when you look at the easiest schedule. But, like, no, of those teams that you're saying, quote unquote, are easy, who's gotten better? New Orleans hasn't gotten better.
New Orleans might have gotten worse.
Yeah, I don't think Atlanta's gotten better. I don't think
Atlanta might have gotten worse.
I think Carolina's about the same. Cleveland's about the same. Tennessee, Indianapolis, Chicago.
Yeah, none of those teams are. Well, I think Chicago's good. Or I think Chicago will. I think Chicago could win double-digit games this year. But that's it.
I'm not bought on Caleb Williams yet. I'm sorry. I watched him at USC. I'm not full on in. I'm just not.
Okay.
He's got to win. He's got to win and win at a high level.
Okay.
That's why, like things that I could see. Ready for this? I'm throwing this out there. Cleveland, November 30th. I wouldn't be surprised if Shador's starting a quarterback for the Browns by that time.
Okay. They probably very well. That's a week 13 game, by the way. Like that could very well be their 5th quarterback.
Probably. Here's another one that I really like.
Okay.
Week 4 against Jacksonville. Guess who's back in town?
Eric Armstead.
I am ecstatic for that. I think the NFL scriptwriters put that one in there this year. I think they said chapter 4. Eric returns to San Francisco.
Okay.
I think that's a very interesting game right there. I think Jacksonville is a team that's kind of a juggernaut. They had a really poor season last year, but they also had a ton of injuries. 2 years ago, they're a playoff team. What does that look like?
Do you think Trevor Lawrence is good?
Yeah.
Jake Gayden, yeah.
Yes.
Great question.
Yes.
And without hesitation.
Yes.
Where does he rank? Is he top 15, top 10?
I think he's right around top 10. I think he's around 10 to 12.
Okay.
I'll give you. Okay. I'm not going to fight with you. I'll give you 12 to 15.
Okay. I think he did enough in Clemson to show that he can win at a high level.
Clemson was a decade ago, wasn't it? Maybe not.
No,
but it feels like it.
It feels like it.
It feels like it was. I feel like I've been hearing Trevor Lawrence's name my entire life.
I also think that Jacksonville is not the greatest well-run organization.
Facts.
So I just think that they've put a lot of things in front of him and said best of luck. And
they hired Urban Meyer.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
They hired Urban. Like that tells you everything you need to know.
The worst coach of all time in NFL history.
Has to be.
Has to be. That's why.
Hyperbole. Like he sucks.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels, your top 5 as well.
The hardest teams.
Very close, number 2.
Hey.
Great offensive coordinator, Jake.
Hey. How many rings has he won with New England?
He said great offensive coordinator.
He didn't win any.
Okay.
He was given rings.
Okay, so the 28-3 comeback had nothing to do with Josh McDaniels.
Kyle Shanahan's fault, don't you remember?
Okay.
If Trevor Lawrence was the quarterback for the Patriots, does that comeback happen?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Not.
That comeback probably happens with 1, maybe 2 quarterbacks on the planet.
You're not wrong.
The only other one is Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Maybe Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
In the 80s, but
Peyton Manning, possibly. I'll throw him in there.
Well, it wasn't. Didn't Peyton do it against your Patriots?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, with
okay.
Denver
All right.
And
sorry.
Indian. It's okay. It's okay.
We can move on. We
Thank
don't
you.
have to. We don't have to talk about.
Do we really have to? Like, I love Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady.
I know
like
you do.
it's just the point where it's like it's hard to talk about him not with the Patriots and trying to find a quarterback again. It's been tough.
I feel like unless you're Green Bay, I feel like every team goes through that.
Oh, 100%, hoping and praying you can find the guy.
Packers got this thing figured out.
When you look at the 49ers,
Mm-hmm.
Is there one team that scares you other than the teams that are in your division that you're playing?
Oh, because my answer was absolutely the Rams. Nope.
That's why I was going to say. That's why I think this.
I mean, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, so yeah. I'm with you. And
that was a great game last year.
I would have loved to have seen that Tampa Bay game on
Sunday Night Football.
Replace the Carolina game or one of these other ones. I'm a little higher on Chicago than you are. Really curious what the Colts look like. Not fearing them, especially looking ahead to Week 16. A couple of days before Christmas, but really, it's of the non division teams. It's the Bucks in Week 6, and it is the Chicago Bears in Week 17.
And that's why I feel confident about this team not only making back to the playoffs. Like, the only reason that they wouldn't win the division is because the Rams have a better divisional record, which I think is definitely a possibility. And then you're the top wild card team.
So if you've got the 49ers winning the division.
I have the 49ers winning the division unless they lose to the Rams twice.
But those are the top 2 teams in the division
by far,
for sure.
Not even close. Not even close. Not even. I don't think Seattle. I think Seattle's taking a step back.
So Arizona just done, huh?
Arizona doesn't have an identity, and that's my problem. Shane Steichen, right? Am I wrong on this? So I don't like that identity down there. I just don't think Arizona has an identity, and I also don't think Seattle with Sam Darnold, I still think is a wild card.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on